hey there and welcome to Cryptology for You, the channel that's not even about cryptology at all, but all about cryptocurrency. I'm your host PaulyD, and let's just take a look right now. Is this really the end of CeFi? Regardless of what you see in this video, it is fully for education. It is not financial advice, no financial advice at all. Maybe a little bit of entertainment, but still not financial advice. It doesn't matter how logical anything sounds in this video, it just isn't financial advice. I hope you get that clear. Recently, some CeFi platforms have made it into the headlines, but not for a good way. It appears that many of these CeFi platforms have led themselves into a little bit of trouble, and they're no longer as liquid as they once were. There was a time when CeFi was absolutely at the top, but right now, a lot of CeFi is closing its doors, holding back withdrawals, or just plain closing. But it's not just CeFi that is in trouble right now. This includes massive hedge funds like 3AC, which is now failing to pay back loans, which is causing other big CeFi institutions to also close their doors. We've just recently seen that with Voyager closing their doors completely, stopping all withdrawals. It looks like the default from 3AC was the reason for this to occur. So, in short, what is CeFi even offering? Well, say you need a loan. Well, CeFi is a good place to go to get a loan. You can take loans out on your crypto. In fact, this is one of the ways that many crypto enthusiasts make a considerable amount of profit. I'm going to see if I can do this in a pretty short frame. You take a loan, the market goes up in value, you pay back your loan with all your profit, and everybody is happy. In fact, you're happy, you have made a profit. The CeFi platform is happy, they also made a profit. You paid some interest while you were taking out this massive loan, and now you've paid back this massive loan and some interest. Everybody is happy. And when everybody is happy, the market is doing well, and this means that even those who haven't taken loans are also happy. But what say it was a little bit different? You need a loan, but this time the market doesn't do so well. Now you end up having a little bit of trouble trying to pay back your loan, and you get liquidated. This means that the CeFi now takes all of your capital, and you're not happy. In fact, nobody's happy. Everybody loses in this situation. The platform is losing on valuable interest, which is their income. You're losing all of your collateral, and you didn't get to even pay back the loan with some profit. Let's take a little bit more of a look into what a centralized finance loan would even look like from a user's perspective. The first thing to notice about a centralized finance platform is you can deposit some money, but that money really isn't yours. Well, not exactly. You put some coin in, but you don't have the keys to that wallet. Not your keys, not your coin. This is now the centralized finance platform's coin. But your deposit does attract some interest. In fact, you get some APR or an APY on that coin that you put in, which is great. But where is that interest even coming from? You can't just grow it on trees. Well, the interest is coming from loaning out the coin that you deposited and charging the person that has loaned the money some interest. The attractiveness of the deposit interest is to get as many people into the platform as possible. Then, as many people as possible will take loans on that. This is a pretty standard business model for a bank, for instance. It's not like it's totally out there. The only thing is, like a bank, you don't actually know where a lot of your money is being lent. It's not exactly overly transparent. In fact, with CeFi, some users might be entitled to an unlimited amount of time to repay their loan. And in CeFi, because it is completely centralized, you're relying very heavily on the management of the platform. But it still doesn't stop users from being liquidated. So if users are liquidated, well, this can happen due to the pretty poor market conditions, kind of very similar to what we're seeing right now. And this has a bit of a flow-on effect as well. This could cause a drop in liquidity in the actual platform, which is where our next problem begins to stem. A lot of users will get the higher interest by locking up their coins at the CeFi platform. Now, usually your deposits cannot be touched during this time that you have locked up, and this is where we are right now. Withdrawals may become halted at the platform, and your money may never be able to come out of that. And of course, this is the worst case scenario. But it's not like it isn't happening. It genuinely is happening, and it's happening at many platforms. The most recent to announce, Vold. Now, Vold have locked up all of their withdrawals, and so far are in talks now with another company. More on that soon. When I look at Vold's website, I can see that they had some idea about what they wanted as a future of banking in the crypto world. They even bring up the 2008 government bailout, which is one of the few ironies that seem to occur throughout Vold's website. Now, Vold wanted what everyone else wanted: a store of value, some capital growth, some easy spending, and a decent place to exchange your coins. There was a roadmap that started from 2018, but seemed to come to an end at 2020. However, they did manage to stick to this roadmap pretty well. Until now, that is. Now, Vold have actually closed their doors completely, stopped any of their 800,000 users from withdrawing, and no more deposits or any type of exchange going on at all. And Nexo have decided to step in and considered to bail out Vold completely. Now, this is a bit of a flex from Nexo, but more on that soon. The issues first surfaced when the founder of Vold first wrote that they were going to reduce their workforce by about 30%. Now, this occurred back on June 21st. They're claiming that there are some uncertain times in the crypto world, and this is causing financial stress on the company. The open letter goes on to talk about what the future of Vold is going to look like over the next 6 months, and they close the letter with, "Thank you for trusting us." However, come July the 4th, the reality comes out. The 800,000 users of Vold are greeted with a statement suggesting that they are in real financial trouble. In fact, in just a short period of time, customers withdrew around $200 million from Vold. Vold claims that this was the cause triggered by things like the Terraform collapse, the Celsius network also pausing withdrawals, and Three Arrows Capital, making Vold one of the many victims here. Vold has since then employed some services such as from Kroll Pte Limited in order to help manage their financial future. All in the meantime, the 800,000 users of Vold can no longer access any of their crypto. The open letter then continues to discuss the fact that Vold are in discussions with other companies in order to help the 800,000 users get back their crypto. This was in points number 4 and 6. I'm genuinely not sure what happened to point number 5, it just wasn't there. The open letter goes on to explain that all withdrawals, trading and deposits are going to be suspended. And this even made major headlines. We're talking the Washington Post here, among other mainstream media outlets. In this case, they're discussing the fact that Nexo have offered to buy out Vold completely. Now, Vold have been pretty good at raising money in the past. In fact, they had no trouble getting $25 million just about a year ago from the founder of PayPal. And they had previously raised money from Pantera Capital, Coinbase Ventures, CMT Digital, etc. It wasn't like they had any trouble getting money in the past. There was a huge list of partners amongst there with Vold. And Vold got its fair share of customers by offering some pretty decent APRs on some pretty big coins. And even coins that wouldn't usually attract any form of staking interest, like SHIB for example, there was a small percentage given for those who chose to deposit. This helped increase liquidity into the company and allowed them to loan even more to other users. But now, there's no more loaning. And if you click on the help at Vold site, there is not much you can do. But I tried a new conversation, and pretty much just got a robot only. I couldn't get any chance to chat at all with a human, but there was a little bit of a help page there. How safe is Vold? Well, I clicked on it, and the page isn't there anymore. So, if you are in CeFi, what is it you can do? I mean, so long you've still got withdrawals, what can you do? Well, I guess you could withdraw, but this is the panic option, and maybe not the correct one. Everything that you do in investment, if you panic, you're doing it wrong. There is so much FUD out there, it is very hard to tell what the correct thing to do really is. But withdrawing all your funds from CeFi isn't really going to help the situation at all. But of course, you have to be sensible. I mean, by being sensible, just do a little bit of research, obviously. For most cases, your coin is probably safe. It does obviously depend on the platform, so just do your research. Now, Nexo, who have said they are going to buy out Vold, are pretty flush there. They have an attestation which shows approximately how much they have out on loan and how much of their capital is still liquid. The only problem is we don't actually see how much is liquid at Nexo, we just get told that they are completely liquid. The number of liabilities has dropped in the last week. I've been watching the attestation constantly, and it had dropped from around about 4.5 billion to 3.8 billion. Now this could be from liquidations, or it could be people actually paying back their loans. But Nexo have maintained that they are fully liquid in this time. In fact, so much so that they've managed to flex their muscles and offer to buy Vold out. So they must be pretty flush with cash in order to do that. So what is it that Nexo are even offering? Well, for the normal user, they give pretty decent APY. Now, in this case again, this is to attract in some of that liquidity. You deposit some of your coin and you get some pretty decent interest on it. But then Nexo are able to loan from that coin. So if you deposit something like Ethereum, for example, you can take a loan up to 50% of the Ethereum that you've deposited. In fact, you can spend your money using the Nexo card as well if you're in the EEA. And you can spend your coin without actually using your crypto. Your crypto just gets locked up as collateral and you have interest starting from as low as 0%. Plus there's no monthly repayments and you can just have it for as long as you want. But this does keep tying up Nexo's liquidity, although it keeps Nexo getting income from the interest. Well, interest when it's above 0%. You could also get a loan at Nexo, and that again could start off from as low as 0%, but don't get trapped because that interest can go up as high as 13.9%. And remember, you need to keep an eye on what your loan value is and how much your collateral is, because if that falls into the 83.3% rate, then alarm bells are ringing and Nexo are asking for their money back, or they're going to liquidate you and keep your collateral. Everyone loses. But Nexo maintain that all their loans are secured. In fact, their business model requires them to be over-collateralized. You can learn more about this at the Nexo site, and I'll put some links in the description below. So what is it that I do during this particular serious time? Well, I make sure that I hedge all my bets. I'm not putting all of my eggs into one basket. I spread it between the types of platforms as well as my own wallets. Now again, remember, this isn't financial advice, this is just pure logic. Now, full disclosure, I do have some funds at Nexo, and I aren't planning on withdrawing them. But there are other options. Let's take a look at this. Yeah, Midas investments have been one of the key players in this industry because they are not CeFi. Midas take the best of both worlds and go de-CeFi. Now, I have a video coming out on this very soon, so keep your eye out for that. I will put a link to it in the description below, but if you click on that today, July the 6th, you're not going to be able to access it, but you will be able to tomorrow. Now, Midas have a different platform because they do not lend any of the crypto out, so they are always fully liquid. Midas managed to avoid the UST scandal, they haven't been invested with Celsius, they didn't have any trouble with staked ETH, in fact they got out of staked ETH just before the depegging event occurred. Plus, they had no relationship with 3AC either. So Midas have been pretty solid throughout this entire market time, and they offer some pretty awesome interest too. In fact, somewhat higher than some of the CeFi platforms. Now, I'll put a link in the description below. If you click on that, this is going to help out the channel considerably. But there are still other options. If you don't want to be in CeFi, or DeFi, or CDeFi, perhaps you want to have your own keys and your own wallet. Well, you could take a look at the Zelcore wallet. There are plenty of options for plenty of coins. I'll put a link to that in the description below. Of course, you're still going to need to do your own research. I mean, I don't think CeFi is at its complete end, but there are certainly going to be a few players that are going to fall from this market. Don't be the ones that panic. Be the ones that do the right thing. When there is panic in the streets, this is the time for you to build your portfolio. But obviously, do it wisely. Don't put all your eggs into one basket, and consider exactly which platforms you'd be willing to invest in. Now, right now, Nexo seems to be flexing its muscles and is obviously considerably flush with cash. But the market is still very difficult to maneuver, so you really need to consider where you're going to keep all of your coin so that it is safe for you and the future. Now, you can feel free to join me and others at the Telegram, Discord and Facebook groups. Would be more than happy to see you there. There are going to be plenty of links in the description below to get to Nexo, to get to Midas and to the Zelcore wallet. Plus, I have decided to start tweeting, and you can join me and follow me at Twitter. Well, I hope you liked the video and you're going to subscribe to the channel, like and share this video with your friends because they probably want to know about CeFi and the risks that they are taking when joining. I've been your host PaulyD, and well, let's hope for some happier profits.